Hey, everybody. Welcome to the America Guns and Freedom Podcast with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. As always, this is just a conversation between me and my viewers. We don't have a set topic. You get to decide what we talk about. If you want to send me an email with questions or topics you want me to cover, go ahead and send them over shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. It's it would be listed down there below if I did not have that in the way. There we go. shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. Go on over there, send me an email, send me pictures you want me to share with the group, whatever. I'll try to answer every question, cover every topic. You can also put questions and stuff in the live chat if you put @the Yankee Marshal in front of them. Those are the hardest ones for me to find, and those are the ones I get to last. So YouTube, email is better. You can also, if you want to get entries into the drawings, or you just want to help the Pets and Vets Fund, you think it's worthwhile and you want to keep it going, feel free to chime in for the Phil Tide P&V Super Chat and Henry Axe giveaway link up there. Get entries into all of our drawings, or just donate to the Pets and Vets Fund. Ask a question, get it answered first, because those get priority. So feel free to do all that. I like to start the day by reading the names of people who have ordered merchandise over the last 24 hours. And I got everybody read yesterday that got merchandise yesterday. So we don't have anybody waiting right now. So we don't got any new orders in the last 24 hours. So we don't got to do that. If you want to help support the channel, though, by the way, if you want to go order some merchandise like the Waddle shirt here, Werewolf Anti-Defamation League, so you can make them feel like you're an ally and they won't eat you. You don't have to really believe it. It's all about, it's all virtue signaling. You got to virtue signal the werewolves that you're an ally, and then you won't get eaten. Or at least less likely you'll get eaten. Still might get eaten, but you want to take all the precautions you can. So going over there, buy some merchandise. There's all kinds of designs over there. I hand draw all my designs, so they're not clip art. So go over, get something. You can also become a Patreon member, Subscribe Star member. You can nominate someone for Handguns for Heroes, or you can nominate yourself for TYMP. So feel free to go over there, do all the stuff you can do from the website, tympistolproject.com. It's linked in the upper corner of this video. With that being said, let's get over to the chats and see if we got anything coming in. Why did it sign me out? Hold on. Let me get me signed back in. Boom. Okay, there we go. The first person chiming in today is Tim Fat Salami. And he said, I have both the Swamp Fox Justice and Liberty. Both the Swamp Fox Justice and Liberty. One is red dot, one is green. Both have worked well. Phil is just a wacky water walker flopping down Galactus wall. He's just a wacky walker flopping down Galactus's wall. No, he's not. He's bigger than Galactus. Galactus is a remnant from a previous iteration of our universe, but all universes are inside the cosmic watermelon. So inside the cosmic watermelon, there's an infinite number of Galactuses, and Phil's bigger than all of them. Garden it. So it'd be more likely Galactus was, I don't think he's a wacky wall walker, but I remember those. I love those ones. Maybe throw them against the wall, a little octopus, and it go down the wall. But no, I think you got it backwards, and plus that's blasphemy. You're a heretic. Heretic. John Heasley chimed in and said, I'm going to get my Mossberg Aftershock tomorrow. Slide yes. Well, good. Although you're a cunt, I didn't get anything new. Y'all get new stuff all the time, and I don't get nothing new. I did buy a red dot, though, for my Shadow 2 carry. Remember, that was the last gun I got new, was the Shadow 2 carry, and that's been a while. But I did finally get a red dot for it. I got the red grips for it. I told you I ordered those red grips from czparts.com, and I ordered them like on late Sunday night, early Sunday morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I was like, well, I'll see these in like a month, because I think, they're coming from the Czech Republic. I got them on Wednesday. And I was like, well, how the fuck did I get these on Wednesday? That's like 2 days. And it's UPS. It's slow. I'm like, well, maybe they mailed it from Hillsborough or something. Maybe it was local, but I just didn't know it. Now the package says it came from the Czech Republic or something like that. And it says it's UPS Saver. So I'm like, it's not even overnight. So how did I get it in 2 fucking days? I'm like, did I go through a time warp? What happened? Did I like lose some time? Am I a week behind? Do I not know what day it is? Because I'm not ruling out that I might have passed out for a week or slept for a week. The meds I'm on, you never know. So, yeah. So, I don't know how I got that so fast, but I did. I got the red grips for it fast. And I bought the red dot. Now I'm just waiting on a holster. Unfortunately, the holsters are moving at snail's pace, getting the holsters. My Urban Carry holster has shipped, but it says it's not going to be here till Monday. And that was a little aside thing I went on there. Well, who was that? That was John Heasley, wasn't it? Arthur Dunham said, I'm not a Glock fan. I just felt like giving. Well, see, he doesn't even care about Glocks or whatever. He's just helping out. See, he's a good person. Unlike some of you people who just watch and don't do nothing, just come here and enjoy this high-grade entertainment and don't even donate $2 to Phil so he can help out pets in need. And then I hope you fucking get Lyme disease. Every one of you. And don't think it's just Lyme disease. If you go to the doctor tomorrow and you find out like, oh, I've got deadly high blood pressure, that's probably Phil. If you didn't pay your $2 tithe, could have been different. All you had to do was pay your tithe, help an animal in need, and things would be better. Unless, of course, you're a way worse person than I assume you are, then maybe it wouldn't even do any good. I don't know. But like if you're going around eating babies or something, giving Phil $2, probably not going to stop bad shit from happening to you. Although I assume most of you, and that might be naivete on my part, but I assume that the vast majority of my viewers don't eat babies. I'm not one of these ones that goes around and says everybody I disagree with is a baby eater. Some people do that. They fall for that bullshit. I don't do that. So I don't call everybody I don't like a pedophile, because that would make me look like a pedophile, I feel. Because, whenever anybody does that, I'm like, anytime anyone's going around, all these people are pedophiles. They're all. I'm like, well, someone needs to check that guy's search history because that guy's a fucking pedophile. Let me see. Where were we at? What were we doing? I forget. P-Gar said, John Heasley is a show-off. He is. He's always getting something new and then rubbing it in my face. He's always rubbing his stuff in my face, and I have to sit here and act like, I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for you. You cunt. I'm very petty. And by stuff in my face, I mean his new purchases. But he got something new. He's never rubbed his stuff in my face. He would have to donate more than he has. If he donates a lot, he'd have to donate even more before that would be allowed to happen. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, my God. Just got an email from President Trump. My anti-communist club is live. Are we really going back to the McCarthy era? Is that what we're doing? Ugh. I'm not as worried about communists as I am fascists. Unfortunately, most people who claim to be communist are actually just fascists in disguise. When people say, name one communist government that's ever survived. I'm like, well, first, we'd have to have a communist government. I ain't never seen a communist government. I've seen governments that say they're communist, but they're actually just fascist because they always have like oligarchs and a ruling class. And I'm like, well, you can't have that in communism. That wouldn't work. If you followed the rules of Marxism, you can't have that. So I think communism's a fucking lie. It's really just fascism in a different jacket. People in power are always going to exploit the people with no power. People with money are always going to exploit the people with no money. It's just the way it goes. Unless the people with no money and no power band together and realize that, hey, together we have all the power. Let's not let them divide us. But that doesn't seem to work. Where was I? What was I talking about? 40 animals. I might pop by Saturday. Why would you pop? Who's popping? Daniel Pennant. I hope you don't pop. Why would you pop? Are you eating uncontrollably or something? Is someone force feeding you? Like to make your gizzard big and juicy so they can make pate out of it or something? What's going on? I don't know what's going on. Where was I? That was Daniel Pennant. And then we got Johnny Mandrick here chiming in. Are there any changes to the basic revolver design you would like to see? No, not really. I would like to see more similar to the Rhino with the barrel on the bottom. I'd like to see more of that. But otherwise, I mean, that's only for people who have arthritis or a weaker grip or something that's beneficial to people like me, old guys. So I wouldn't want all revolvers made like that, but I'd like to see more options like that. Let's see here. That was Johnny Mandrick. Officer Tater Hater chimed in, paid his $2 tithe to Phil, and said, I sent emails including an update from Oklahoma that cop is a gypsy cop and sexual predator. He needs 1 year of gin pop. Yeah, okay. But I saw that the emails got sent. Some of them you sent right after the chat started, so I haven't seen those ones yet. Let's see here. That was Jason, Officer Tater Hater. Now we got Mikey D chiming in. Rip Ace Frehley. Did Ace Frehley die? I didn't hear that. Double entries. You slide no. Glocktard patch. Oh yeah, because of Paul needs a hand. Rip Ace Frehley. I didn't know Ace Frehley died. Did Ace Frehley die? Let me look it up. I was a big Kiss fan back in the day. Yeah, he died today. But he lived such a clean life. Why did he die? Yeah, he's dying young. He said, what, 74? Did it tell what he died from? 5 hours ago, it said he was on life support with a brain bleed. And then 11 minutes, an hour ago, it says he died. He suffered a fall. He fell. He ended up with a brain bleed. That's why you gotta be careful. That's how my best friend's mom died recently. She fell, and that just led her down to dying. She can't, It's how my great grandfather died. He fell, broke his hip. Then the family was like, how long is he going to take to heal? When's he going to get out of the hospital? And the doctor's like, 106-year-old men don't heal from a broken hip. Those bones ain't going to heal. And if we tried to do surgery to fix it, the surgery would kill him. So back then they were a little more honest, I think. Yes, he's 106. He was old. It wasn't like he's like, oh, what a tragedy. A 106-year-old man died. That's not like it's like when people say, oh, I'm really sad. And they're like, why? And you're like, oh, my grandmother died. And you're like, oh, that's terrible. And they're like, she was 97. I'm like, oh, okay. A lot of people be like, well, that should have been a few years ago. Let's see here. I'm stealing material from Louis C.K. But yeah, that's sad. Now we can't have a Kiss reunion. Now, if Peter Criss would have died, we could have still had a Kiss reunion because they could have just brought in his replacement. But yeah, not with Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley is important. Ace Frehley is the one, if I could ever find the pictures of me and my sister as little kids going for Kiss as Halloween, which we did more than once, she was Peter Criss and I was Ace Frehley. So, yeah. That's the one I would usually do because I like his face paint. He's got the big silver stars outlined. Star Child just had the star. And Gene Simmons was wild. You got to have the rest of it to go with it. So I was always Ace Frehley, and she was always Peter Criss. Yep. So that's sad news. Why'd you have to bring that up, Buzzkill? Daniel Pennant chimed in again, paid his tithe to Phil, and said, what happens when lycanthropy affects insects or flora? It doesn't. That's like saying what happens when a rose gets the flu. It doesn't happen. Or, what happens when an ant gets dementia? I don't think that happens. I like to say there's no silly questions, but that's pushing it. I don't know. MWA, that's M drone. He just said super chat link. No, he didn't say that. That's what it says right here. But he got entries into the drawing. Daniel Pennant chimed in again and said, how dare you badmouth Glocks? I'm triggered and it's crunchy. I'm triggered and it's crunchy. Like Glock trigger is crunchy. Best non-revolver science. I think he's having a stroke. Maybe that's what he meant by pop. Maybe his brain's going to pop. I hope not. He's supposed to bring me some knives and we're supposed to go eat at the Olive Garden. We're going to go have a white trash weekend. Be like a wedding dinner, like a white trash wedding dinner. We're going to the Olive Garden. Slide, nah, it's not usable on a 38 Super build. Oh, I don't like him. I have to send him grips. And then he told me I'm putting it on a 38 Super 1911. I'm like, well, lie and say it's 10 millimeter so that I can live with myself. Then we got one more person weighing in here for the slide and everything else today. And remember, it is double entries for the double super secret Henry giveaway. So anybody who gets entries today is getting double entries for I already wrote it down. And you're getting double entries for the slide giveaway if you're interested in the slide. So feel free for that. All right. All right. That's it for this. Wait, did I get it by Paul Bidenbach? I got him, didn't I? Did I get Paul Bidenbach? What did he say? No. Hell, Phil, where do you like to buy aftermarket parts, triggers, sights, etc.? Well, it really depends on what gun it is. I mean, not every manufacturer makes parts for every gun, so it really depends on what gun. If it's Glock, I'll go to like the Glock store, see what they got. If it's Beretta, well, I'll usually just have to go to Beretta for those. Not a lot of people make good Beretta parts. If it's SIG, I'll usually go to SIG and buy them directly from factory. But unless it's like, something I like, there's people who make triggers and stuff that make for different models, but it really depends on what I'm looking for. Triggers, or I like to go directly to the manufacturer, not through like Optics Planet or anything like that. I would rather go buy directly from the manufacturer. But like I say, it really depends on what it is and what it's for and what gun and all that crap. But that catches us up over there. Let me go see if we got any supers coming over here. I think we had a couple over here I needed to get to. Drake 0145 said, Punva, did you ever watch Milan the other week? No, I did not. Like, I've seen it in the theaters, and that's the last time I saw it. And I don't remember it being good enough. I want to see it again. It's just the soundtrack was awesome. Like that Be a Man. And what's the one I was humming the other day? But the soundtrack's awesome. I like the soundtrack. Doesn't it have Eddie Murphy in it too? Isn't he the dragon? The little dragon? Daniel Pennant says, I hate night sights. I read that already. I don't know why I'm reading it again. Pigar also said John Heasley's a show off. I read that already, and yes, he is. Why am I reading all these again? What did I do? Did I forget something? What do you think of the thin red line for firefighters? Well, I don't have a problem with the thin red line for firefighters. I mean, firefighters aren't given a lot of authority that they abuse and trample on people's rights and stuff like that. I support firefighters, of course. I don't want to see an American flag with a red line on it because that's desecration of, well, I mean, other than the ones that are supposed to be on it. That's a desecration. Not as bad as that one with the swastika on it. I saw in some guy's post the other day that he had on the bulletin board. I still don't know what that's about, but yeah, I'm all for supporting firefighters, funding them, giving them more equipment, all that stuff. I'm okay for firefighters. Although I always think it's funny when people who yell about socialism, you know, they're like, I'm thin red line or thin blue line. Well, I'm like, you know, that's socialism, right? The fire department is a perfect example of socialism. That is a socialist program. So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It makes me think you might not be very smart. I mean, because you're not saying I don't like some socialism. You're like, I don't like any, no socialism. And then you're like, yeah, except for the fire department, the police department, the water system, and power grid, the roads, you know, my disability check, my whatever. Then they're fine. Hey, I don't know. All right, let's get back to the questions. I think I'm all caught up on those. Let's get to the emails. I know I had some. Where'd they go? Oh, there they are. Hold on. Let me get them all to the front so I can share them. Let's do the emails. And then after we do the emails, we'll read, if we get more super chats, we'll read those. And we'll also read, I'll try to get as much of the live chat done as I can because I don't have to be done right on time today. We got an email coming in here from Frank Rodriguez. Frank is not a good name for someone whose last name is Rodriguez. His first name should be like, what would be the Hispanic version of Frank? I don't know. Is there a Spanish? Like, I used to have a friend. She'd always be like, well, your name is David. The Spanish name would be David. And I'm like, no, my name is still David. If I was from Mexico, it might be David. Or your name is Roberto. No, it's Robert. If I was from Mexico, it might be Roberto. But when I go down to Mexico, my name doesn't suddenly become David. It's still David. Or Marshall. I don't know if there's a Marty. I don't know if there's a Mexican version of Marty. Might be a little too Jewish for him. No, socialism is not when government owns the businesses. Socialism actually requires more people to be involved. Socialism doesn't require government ownership of a business. It means when through a government, people facilitate the use of joint monies to do something they couldn't do separately. It doesn't imply that the government owns it. It should be the people own it, and they use the government to facilitate that. But the way our government is, yeah, it'd be the government owns it because the government doesn't serve the people anymore. That's what I was trying to get to with that. If we did it right, we would own it. But the way our government is, yes, they would own it. All right, here, let me get to the, oops, what just happened? What just happened? Did I black out there for everybody else? I hit a button up there. I think I hit the wrong button. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, next email. Daniel Pennant said, Superboy working hard. Oh, look at that puppy. What is that there? Oh, is that a toy? What is? I thought something was wrong with his leg. What is that? Oh, is that his prosthetic or something? It might be a prosthetic because I think he's got 3 legs, if I remember correctly. But he looks happy. He looks like he's taking a nap. And anyway, I'd like to take a nap right now, to be honest. Share screen. I took one right before, but it wasn't a very long one. It was like 20 minutes, which they say if you're taking a nap, you're supposed to try to keep it to like a half hour. That's the best for you, a refreshing half-hour nap. If you go much longer, like you hit an hour, well, then you need to do a few hours if you want to really get a good sleep cycle. So it's better to either do a half hour and get up, or you're going to be there for the long haul. I don't know if I ever really believe that. I'm not sure. I mean, I know the evidence is there, and I've read studies on it, but since my opinions differ, I'm going to Daniel Pennant says my new EDC, or at least for Halloween, he's got his claws. Well, you took it on portrait mode. It made y'all blurry on the side. Is this a Photoshop, or does he actually have the claws? Because that mask, does that not look Photoshop? I think it's because of the way it's on portrait. I don't know what's going on there. And then we got another email here from... this one's from Eric Molnar, Eric M509. Inherited this 1885 Winchester low wall in 32 short rimfire. That's pretty cool. I love them old guns like that. I'm more into like old guns like this than I am like Milsurp stuff. But I'm not into. I don't own a lot. I wish I owned more. I don't really have a lot of things I can inherit from people. They didn't go to me. My dad don't own a lot of guns or nothing, and it probably wouldn't go to me anyway. So it'd probably go to my sister's husband before it'd go to me. My dad ain't never done much for me. Like I'm sure when he dies, my sister through his second wife will get everything. I'm sure I'm not even in the will anymore, even though his divorce papers with my mom said that for the rest of our lives we're to be his beneficiary, but I'm sure he got away around that somehow. All right, let me make sure we're still caught up on the supers and the emails real quick. That's not what I was looking for right there, but I went to the wrong thing. Did someone send me a message via something? I don't know. Hold on. All right, let me go over here. Let's see if anything's coming in. Oh, it logged me out. That's why I can't get it to open up. Let's get logged back in. Make sure we're still caught up on the supers. I think Paul Beidenbach was the last one, and he still is. So that we're all caught up on those. All right. Let me get over to the live chats and see what's going over here. See how far up I can go. Mitch McConnell just lost his balance and fell yet again. He should be forced to leave office. Yeah, I think there should be like a 70, at the very least, 70-year-old retirement, mandatory retirement. Once you're 70, you should have to retire, or you're diagnosed with dementia. There's so many of them that have been diagnosed with dementia that are still serving. You should have to forced retirement at 70. I would say 65, but some people are like, people can still be productive past 65. So, okay, 70. You shouldn't be able to serve public office over the age of 70. And then everything, presidency, senators, congressmen, none of it. Early Inuit people learned how to avoid polar bears through a combination of strategic hunting, shelter design, and camp layout. I've learned a way to stay away from polar bears by not going to northern Alaska. I have found that I run into very few polar bears locally. Like if I go to my mailbox, chances of me seeing a polar bear, very slim. If I go down to the MAC station, chances of running into a polar bear, very slim. So I say I'm doing even one better than them. I just stay the fuck away from wherever there's anywhere that there could be a chance there's polar bears, because I do not want to get eaten by a polar bear. They would be cute for a second. You know, like, oh, it's a polar bear. Oh, and then it's like, oh, stop eating me. It's like that, what's that Grizzly Man video? I don't want to get eaten by a grizzly either. We don't have grizzlies right here either. We have brown bears in northern Washington, but they don't come this far down generally. We have black bears mostly here. Pay attention, yo fart. I don't want to pay attention. You know how bored I'd get if I paid attention? I'm here every day. I get bored. End result from a fall. Yeah, that's how Ace Frehley died, is what they're saying. Why did it take Ace Frehley and not Mitch McConnell? I would not have been upset if Mitch McConnell died. Would anybody here have been really, really upset if Mitch McConnell had died? That man is a spineless asshole. He's more asshole than man. I think that's why he looks like that. Daniel Pennant sent in an email, says, since the 38 Super can be loaded to higher pressure than the 357 and be super accurate, why is your favorite over the 357 Magnum? Also, I was explaining that I would possibly pop by this Saturday. I said, I read that you said you'd pop by this Saturday. I don't know why you're going to pop, though. Sounds messy. I don't like the sound of it, but I'm not one step closer to understanding it because of what you just said. 38 Super can be loaded to higher pressure. I don't mean you're going to get better performance. They're conflating two different things there. Then he also said 38 Super is the preferred round of polar bears. I think polar bears would have better taste than that. And they can have whatever round they want to have. They're not limited to stuff the government doesn't have. They can get whatever they want. I don't think they're subject to, well, definitely not Mexican law. I don't see a lot of polar bears in Mexico. Is there a polar bear population in Mexico that I don't know about? Because I don't think there are polar bears in Mexico. There's not even a lot of bears, period, in Mexico. Not like brown bears or nothing, I don't think either. I think they got black bears, but I don't think they have a lot of brown bears even, period. Much less polar bears. Someone fact check me on that. Let me know the bear concentration of Mexico and populations of bears in Mexico. An improved revolver would have covers over it, moving parts, and shields around the cylinder gap. I don't know if that would improve anything. They tried that shit before. Remember, they did the sealed revolvers, didn't make really much difference. So I don't know if that'd be improved. I'm out of soda. I'm going to die of thirst. At your age, you might need to start using your cane sword for balance so you don't die from a fall. I don't fall a lot. I fell and fractured my hip a couple of winters ago. But that was a really bad fall on ice. Not much to do about that. But still didn't take me down. I healed right up. I got up, hobbled on it for a couple of months, but I healed right up. I'm strong stock. I'm sturdy. And my head is very hard. So hopefully I'll be okay. Daniel Pennant said, can you do a Mexican polar bear with 38 Super magnet? No. I'm not going to draw that just to sell a magnet. You know how much work that is for me? To sell a magnet. Hell, I did that Dalek drawing. That thing was a bitch to draw, and I've sold like 5 things. And don't make it worth it. And 2 of them were hats, so that's like $5 each. 2 shirts, that's like $7 each. So like less than $30. I did all that work. Gene Simmons was in a car crash and in the hospital, but he's not dead. I don't think, is he? Do you think Sentry is overpowered considering that he can do and what Marvel usually puts him up against? Oh, yeah, Sentry is very overpowered. That's why they don't use him much. That's why they had to contrive a way to get rid of him. And then they did the worst reboot, that whole thing about his power being divided among 5 people, and it was just stupid. I don't like when they make it look like the power is separate from the hero. It's like the whole Justice League thing where the Amazo stole everyone's powers. And now when they went back, they didn't all go back to the right people. I mean, it's just stupid. The powers are because of their biology, their physiology, all this other stuff. It's not just something that is, it's not like a penny you can take out of their pocket. It's part of who they are. So that's why I've never liked the Amazo android, because we created technology that can be as powerful as a superhero. Now, if it's a technology, it's not going to be any more powerful than the materials you made it out of, period. It's like when we built this robot to take out Superman. Well, the robot, unless it's stronger than materials he can normally rip in half, he's going to rip it in half. And same thing with the adaptoid. There's just no way it to get stronger by absorbing someone's power. There's no science behind that. So it's stupid. Now, like the parasite, that makes more sense when he draws like the life energy off people and he just gets physically stronger or mimics their powers. That makes more sense. He's a biological organism. He can do that. But a mechanical item that can absorb your power, doesn't make a lot of sense. Pop by Washougal. Anything else fun to do there? Oh, no, not really. There's not much to do in Washougal, period. He meant pop by Saturday, not pop by Saturday. Now it makes more sense. I get it now. You meant he would pop by on Saturday, not he would pop by Saturday, which is the way I was reading it. That makes more sense. I'm on my way home. Is there anything I need from the store? I don't know. I didn't look. And it's too late now anyway. That was at 5:30. Let's see. Where were we at? Pepsi Zero or Pepsi Full in case of war? Well, I mean, in case of war, I probably wouldn't need to have Pepsi Zero because I'd probably be moving enough that my type 2 diabetes wouldn't be an issue. It's like people say, like, oh, if you're on insulin, if you're got type 2 diabetes and bad times come, you're going to die. Probably not, because you're probably going to lose weight and exercise more and just trying to survive. Now, if you're type 1 diabetic, it's going to be harder because you're going to have to take in enough sugar and stuff and then do enough activity to burn it off. So you're going to have a more delicate balance because you're still not going to produce insulin. But most of the people like me, if we started moving more and eating less, we would produce more insulin. We'd become less insulin resistant. We would actually be healthier. Gene Simmons hates Paul Stanley with a passion. So a Kiss reunion would have been out of the question even if Ace Frehley hadn't died. That group had a lot of internal tension. Yes, but never underestimate what money can do. Money brought him back together more than once. Now, Gene Simmons has done real well for himself. But if he lost all of his money, he might have been willing to get back together. It's not easy to go from being rich to being poor again. I mean, I've gone from dirt poor to where we were upper middle class, pretty well off, and now back down to just basic middle class. It's not as easy to go down as it is up. Up's a lot easier. Maybe Yankees having a stroke. I don't think so. I think you'd be able to tell if I was. You'd see my shoulders moving. And the way I'd do it, I'd be crying. So, you mean like an aneurysm? Where are we at? I've lost my flow. It jumped me to the bottom. I got to try to get back up. Hold on. Polar bears can't get the kind of selection we can 95% of the time. No, they can't. They don't have access to as much stuff. They made revolver that cylinder sealed to the barrel and no gases came out. Issues, it had to keep it super clean and clean every time you reloaded to prevent from jamming. And the pressure didn't really go up that much. It just wasn't worth it. Socialism is government ownership of production, aka manufacturing. Even in that case, they don't really own it in most socialists. It's owned by the people. The people govern it through their representatives. But it's built by the government and stuff. Whereas under pure Marxism, it would be more like, the workers own the factory. But like I said, there's no such thing as true socialism or communism or anything. It's all fascism and a different label. Because name me one country that's ever actually been socialist or communist. Like China is a socialist? No. Or China's communist? No. China's fascist. They have a ruling party. They have oligarchs. They have all this stuff. The average person does not share in the wealth, does not share in the prosperity, does not share in the freedom. So it's fascism. Saying that communism or socialism is an alternative to whatever is kind of a lie, because I don't think human beings are even capable of it, because I've never seen it. I've seen things that start off that way, like we get together and we have a good idea. We're going to do everything for everybody, and everybody's going to share the profit as long as everybody just does their part. But eventually you end up with like, those people aren't doing their part. And then some other people are like, I'm smarter than them, so I'm going to figure out a way that I get more than my share. And then I'm going to use whatever I get extra to grab some people in the middle to say, hey, you need to side with me, that I should get an even bigger share because I do more. I'm more important. And it becomes fascism. So yeah, it don't work. Homesteading with soulless ginger, you need a 45 gap, you old fart. No, that's what Never Enough Ammo wants, a 45 gap, not me. He's the one that loves the 45 gap. I'm not a 45 gap fan. Let's see here. Did you see the guy in Wyoming arrested for DUI on a grizzly bear? I did not see that. Firestorm's power is between 3 different men who all have to merge together to create Firestorm. Well, it was originally just 2. Then it became 3. I don't know if it's back down to 2. It was 1 for a while. I mean, it goes up and down. When he was the elemental representation of fire and all that stuff, nuclear fire, it was just Stein. But it used to be, it was Ronnie and Stein, and then that other kid came in. I forget his name. The black kid. And then they were like a threesome for a while. Not a good one. Not the good kind of threesome. But which threesome can be pretty good sometimes. But not that I would remember. It's been a long time. But yeah, it got weird. How many people were in the Firestorm Matrix and all this other stuff. But originally it was just Ronnie and the professor. And the professor was just a floating head next to him. You couldn't see it. Only he could see the professor, who gave him advice and told him how to do stuff, like what's the chemical makeup of something, the molecular makeup of something, so he could do something. But yeah. Utah has state-run liquor stores. It's not socialism because it is not production. You have brown bears, cougars, caribou, rams, and mountain goats. Well, not in my yard, no. But all those things are in our state. And I have mountain goats across the ravine here. There's a big flat mountainside over there. Every now and then you'll see mountain goats over there. They come down because it's all national forest up above us, and it goes all the way up to Mount Hood. Every once in a while, during the winter months, you'll see mountain goats all the way down here, but not always. Where was I? I didn't know Utah had state-run. Let's see. Which states have liquor commissions? Oregon has an OLLC. All states have some form of liquor code, but the specific agencies and methods. I'm talking about Utah's not on the list. I thought Utah, the base of their government, controlled what alcohols could be sold, and like you couldn't have certain things because it's a religious fascist state. But the only states that have an actual liquor control commission are Illinois, Oregon, and that's it. Washington used to have one, but they got rid of it. But the other states just have state licensing and all that crap. Open states in these states. In Washington now, we can have liquor at the grocery store. We used to not be able to. We used to have to go to a state-run store. But state stores are actually not that uncommon. But in Oregon, it's not that it's a state store. It's you buy your liquor from the state. You can't buy it from any other source. Anytime you go to a state store, that's the state you're buying it from. They don't just facilitate the sales, they own the product. The product is sold to the Oregon OLC, and then they put it in their stores and you buy it directly from them. You don't, it's not like a state store where they can get their license and then they can bring alcohol in from different distributors. Like if we'd been in Washington, we could have called distributors and had stuff delivered to us, and they had a license. They could bring it in and all this other stuff. But in Oregon, you have to go to the OLC store and buy it directly from the state OLC. And let's say a bottle of absinthe that would have cost me $50 across the river in Washington. I could have bought a case of 10 of them for $500 or 10 of them for $500. In the state of Washington, they were $212 each in the state of Oregon. So for as much as what I would have to pay for 5 bottles pretty much to get one. Because the Oregon Liquor Commission marked everything up anywhere between 200 and 500%. It was a huge moneymaker for them. And they employ a bunch of lazy ass fuckers that if you want to get it licensed or reviewed or anything, you have to get in line and wait. Then they'll eventually send some 80-year-old government employee who's been with the organization for 60 years because his grandmother used to run it to get something maybe done if you're lucky, but probably not. Let's see, where am I at? I think we are all caught up. Let's see. What money can do if money brings Ace back, I'd be impressed. Well, it ain't going to do that. It ain't going to bring him back. I don't think you can't bring back the dead. Opinion on the Glock ban in California. Did they ban Glocks in California? I hadn't been paying attention. I know they like to, but I didn't know they did. I emailed you about the DUI. Y'all look at that. I saw you sent it. Wyoming man got DUI while riding a bear. Okay, I see the pictures now. Who's going to stop a man on a bear? I think I would just let him go. Plus, he's not going to, well, he might eat somebody, but he's not going to cause a traffic accident. So is it really a traffic issue? DUI is a traffic offense. So I don't know if would qualify. In my mind, anyway. Why don't you go hunt a mountain goat? I'm sure they're tasty. Why would I want to hunt a mountain goat? I can go store and buy lamb chops. And put a lot less effort into it. If Firestorm were made up of a man and a woman, would he be a hermaphrodite? Well, I'm not sure Firestorm actually has a sex as Firestorm. I don't know if he has genitalia or not. But it depends on which one, I guess, took over which one he would be. If he had boobies, he'd probably be a woman. Because one is actually entity and the other is just a floating psychic presence. Andrew Jackson supported popular sovereignty. Whig Party opposed it. Show the room so Chunky can see it. Show the room so Chunky can see. Oh, you mean the bear thing? Hold on. Let me see if I can get it up. Let me zoom in on the picture because it's a little small. There we go. Here's the picture of the man getting the DUI on the bar. And he's still drinking, it looks like. Is this a AI? I'm betting this is AI. Because why would he still be drinking like that? This looks like AI to me. Especially that fisheye view. It looks like AI to me. AI is very hard to spot nowadays. It's like I've seen one where there's this guy, there's a video that's been around for years, and it's a guy who's asleep on a porch, and a bear comes up and sniffs him, and he wakes up and goes, "Oh, Jesus," and the bear runs off. But now there's like 50 different versions of it. There's it's a black guy asleep on a porch and the bear comes up and he jumps up, freaks up and runs around. And the bear runs off and runs the other way. So they make them pretty good now. Like the woman feeding the bears on her porch, that's fake. It's AI. I thought it was real when I first saw it, but then I saw here's the original video. She's feeding raccoons and here's the AI. It's bears. So I'm not sure if I believe it. Daniel Pennant says he needs a 38 super gap. I don't think I need that. Read the story. It was substantiated. It is substantiated in the story. That don't mean it's real. All kinds of stories can be substantiated in the story. POS Newsom signed it in total ban on the Glocks. I'll have to look into that today. Well, that means California is very safe now. If they ban Glocks, how much safer could they possibly be? No one should die in California anymore. But that looks like that's it for the questions. Let me make sure I'm all caught up on the super chats and the emails real quick here, and then we will do the drawing and get out of here. Audit 2 sent a thing says, why is 38 Special so weak? It's a big cartridge compared to 9mm. I don't understand how this works. Well, when it was designed and popular, that's what it was. When they started building tougher guns, they started making more powerful cartridges. So that's why you don't want to shoot them in guns that can't handle it. But even most of the older guns that are in 38 can still handle it if they're all metal. But I wouldn't want to be shooting 357 Magnum in a gun that wasn't, And they started to change the cylinder lengths and stuff like that. 357 does have his longer cylinder. But you always have to worry when you take a round like a 38 Special, and here's what it used to be, and here's what the guns that shot it used to be made to tolerance of. And then you take it and go, well, we can make this much more powerful, because when you do, then someone blows up an older gun with it and sues you, you're going to lose your shirt. So you get into that kind of thing there. But that looks like that's going to be it for us today. We will do the drawing here in just a moment. Let me go over here and count. Let me see. Did anybody get them through? I got to look on my list over here. So hold on. Give me 1 minute to look up the supers. Why is it not? There we go. Supers. There we are. Let me count how many entries we got today. If we got any through, I think we got 2 through the super chats. I need to go check. What's today? I was sure a couple people got entries today. Why are they not? Oh, I need to refresh it. That's why. I need to refresh it. Those are yesterday's. There's the ones from today. Today's the 16th. Okay. 1, 2. I got 2 entries over here. I'm going to write that down. 2. And let me go count the ones through PayPal. All right. I'm going to count them and then I'll double them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be 3 and 1. So that's 4. So that's 11. 12. 13, 14, 15. So 15 total. We'll double that. That'll be 30. And that'll be 32 total. We did not do as great today as I thought we would on the thought people. Wow, it's I mean, who wants a slide only? Let's see here. Hey, what's his name wanted 30 entries. We barely did 30 entries total. He would have won if he had 30 entries. I'm pretty sure. Got a 50% chance at least. All right, let's get here and do the drawing. I got to generate a number. And the number is 26. So let's go over here and count. There's only 2 over there, so I got to count down 24 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 6, that's 10. And 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20. The winner is Mikey D. And I don't think he wanted it, did he? Hold on. Let me look at his. No, he don't want it. So he wants the Glock patch. So I'll send you the Glock patch. And I will draw again here for the slide. Let's try again here. 5. Number's 5. So that's 2 over there. So I got to count down 3 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Christian Carlson is the winner. Christian Carlson. He's no slide either. So I have to think of something else to send him, like a patch or a shirt or something. God damn it. Are we going to be able to give this thing away? I'll keep drawing until we get someone who wants it. This is being more problem than I thought. Let me see. Let me generate another number. All right. 8. This time it's 8. So I got to go down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that is 2, 3, 4. 4 more. So that would be 10. So the winner is MWA. MWA. That's W Drone. W Drone. I think he wants it. Let me know. Do you want the slide? He didn't say yes or no. Is the slide something you would want? Let me know. Is he still here? Well, as of right now, M Drone is the winner after 3 drawings. If he decides he don't want it, I'll go back and choose another winner from tonight's entries tomorrow. But is he still here? I don't see if he's still here or not. I can't tell. I don't see him answering nothing. I don't see that he's still here, but he won. So someone let him know he won. If he wants it, we'll give it to him. If he doesn't want it, we'll draw again tomorrow from tonight's super chats. I still will have them tomorrow, the list. So did you go to the pissed offs today? No, I did not. I did not make it out of the house today. I stayed indoors all day. I didn't go anywhere. I did go out and change the battery in my son's car. That's about it. That's about all I did. So I didn't go to the post office. I'm going to go tomorrow. But now if I know he wants that, I can mail that tomorrow too. Hopefully he'll let me know tonight whether he wants it. If he's not still here, but somebody let him know he won. But otherwise, I want to say thanks to everybody who came tonight, everyone who participated. I will see you all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe till I see you again.